Doing things like calisthenics only or machines only is destroying your gains. This is a terrible mindset. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today. So when it comes to this topic, you get people who are like, well, I want to use this training modality only, nothing else. And it's like, okay, why would you do that? Like, people will say those things, and it's like, why would you do this to yourself would be my question. It is hard enough to build an impressive physique. It is hard enough to get into amazing shape, right? So that this is where I'm going to go with this, right? It takes a lot of work. Most people maybe don't realize this. If you want a great body that is fit and strong and athletic and looks good, it takes a lot of work. So why would you go out of your way to make it even more difficult? And I want people to think about that. I personally think it is something psychologically a problem with the people who choose to do these limited modalities, and here's why. I think it's subconscious in that they don't believe they deserve results, or that they don't think that they can get there, so they need an excuse to do something that limits them, right? That is my opinion. And people say, really, even the calisthenics people? Yes. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And here's why. Anyone out there think that these people who even do these calisthenics type competitions, you realize a lot of them lift weights, right? Oh, because that's the reality. They lift weights just because they compete and like, oh, look how many pull-ups I can do. Look at these muscles. Look at all this stuff I do, right? In these various events and these calisthenic athletes. Most of the best ones still lift weights because we need a variety of training modalities. And I would never limit anyone. People see me, over here, obviously I do the big barbell lifts. I have a powerlifting background. But I use machines, I use bands, I use dumbbells. I do weighted body weight. I love weighted pull-ups, by the way. I'm a massive fan. I love pull-ups, dude. I think pull-ups are one of the best exercises we can do, right? Love pull-ups. That's how I built, look at my back. I built my back off pull-ups. All right? So, of course I believe in those things, right? But here's the thing. Everyone, they want to limit themselves. And it's like, why? What do you seek to get out of this other than inferior results? Because you're limiting your ability to load stuff. You're limiting the tools that you have available to yourself. And it's one thing if that's all you have. But that's a choice too, isn't it? Right? That's a choice. I get that some of the people are doing some calisthenics only because maybe they don't go to a gym. But guys, I'm sorry. A gym is not that expensive. A home gym is, like I have. To go to a decent gym doesn't cost you very much money. It's just not that expensive. I promise you it's not. All right? These people are rare. Right? They're rare who can't afford a gym at all. I'm not saying they don't exist. Keep in mind the places where most of my audience is at listening. Okay? The problem is people will see a little bit of that and then they want to emulate it. But it's like, but see, you're just going to limit yourself. And it doesn't matter that, this one couple of people, they look great. But they have limited tools. They're limiting their results. And there's potential for overuse. So that's a big deal with something like that. And I'm not saying calisthenics aren't great. Okay, so I'm a fan of it. I'm a fan. I use these tools. But they also have a pretty high injury rate due to overuse. You also have limited angles. It's like, so if you're really trying to fully develop certain things, you need actual individual tools to get in and do that. The same thing with overall strength. You're never going to get that strong on calisthenics. Why? Because the strongest muscles in the body are in the lower half. not a lot you can do there. And so if you're talking about getting truly brutally strong to carry over to various athletic endeavors, you probably need a barbell. You might even need some machines to be useful, right? But there's a reason we do squats and deadlifts, and other athletes do hang cleans and all sorts of. There's a reason these things are done. It's not arbitrary, right? It's not arbitrary. It's done for a reason. Okay? And that's the point. Like right here, you're watching me do some reps with 550 on the deadlift. How are you going to emulate this with calisthenics? How are you going to emulate this with a machine? Kind of hard, isn't it? By that same token, if I'm doing just some of these barbell movements, how am I going to move my body through space the way I can on a pull-up and work all those muscles? You can't. Okay? But what about how am I going to isolate the bicep? How am I going to isolate the posterior delt? How am I going to isolate the hamstring? Doing any of this? So there's the other issue. What if the long head of your tricep needs more work and the only thing you've been doing is ring dips? Or how are you going to put on enough size always just doing the machines or the smaller stuff? You can't. So my point is these things are all useful tools. And what I am trying to say, fully developing your body is hard. It is not as easy as you think it is. So when you start limiting the tools that you have available, you are reducing the efficiency in your ability to get there quickly, right? You're adding more difficulty to it. You're also subjecting yourself to higher overuse risks, okay? And I'm saying this as someone, look, I'm 48 years old now. I'm 48 years old, guys, and I'm still doing this. Do you think I've learned some things about longevity? Learned some things about longevity under the bar? Exercise variety for the certain things is a big part of the key. It's a big part of it, especially if you're going to do high enough volumes to maximize everything. Okay? It's the reason I do a lot of the things I do here. Okay, so when you truly limit your tools, you got problems. You at the bare minimum, my opinion, you need at least some barbells and then some smaller equipment for isolating stuff. Like these are minimums. These are minimums to really get everything that you need. And I think machines have their place. I think calisthenics has its place. It all has its place. But don't shortchange your tools. All right. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.